Hey, what's up, friend? You are you interested in lack of skill? Yeah. Or maybe some suck. I'm just a new guy for the love of game. We gon' go, I know it's bad. Times have changed, but not my mad. Don't you know that games are my thing? Yeah, I know it's getting real late. Come on, look at me. I even do storytelling. Also podcasts on great game subjects. Okay, yeah, I'm not a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. But hey, that's what makes me so unique, right? 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 Hey everybody, it's NikoTheLegend here, and guess what? I have a special guest on the channel, but before we get started, this is the Niko Show, so I know everybody's so excited. We have awesome guests on here. I'm also known as One Man or Teenager, the Snowflake, Rambling Idiot, and Vigil. A lot of nicknames that I have not somehow I earned throughout doing YouTube and everything else on the internet. I don't make this up. But as I promised from the previous episode, I bring you the great BKNAPP. Is that how I say it? BKNAPP?
It's actually just BKNAPP, but it's very confusing. I get that.
Oh no, I screwed it up. I even have it typed up as BK space nap on my whatever Microsoft Word. Why do I have it that space? I don't even know. Anyway.
No, you're a good dude.
All right, awesome. Okay, so thank you so much for being on the show. This is exciting. Like I said, I haven't had a guest on here in a while. BKNAPP. See, I got it right.
Yeah, there you go.
And I like to get artists on here and stuff because I love listening to, obviously everyone loves listening to music, but I love listening to, now it's just like specific genres of music, like lo-fi and then remixes of video game stuff and just kind of all in between. So it's just awesome to have another person on the channel. So before we get through the really structured interviewing process, BKNAPP, where can everybody reach you? There will be links down below, but I like to hear from the man himself.
Yeah, so my main thing, honestly, is my Spotify page. So if you just search BKNAPP, so BKNAPP on Spotify, you'll find me. And then I have Twitter. It's BKNAPP Beats. I think everything, actually, like Instagram, I think that's BKNAPP Beats too. YouTube is... Oh, geez. I think it's just BKNAPP, maybe. I probably should know that.
It is. I have it up.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. You know more about me than I do.
It's all right. Every artist has their all-time favorite stalker. Okay. And then I just click the call. It's like, what? That's it? So, okay. Yeah, if you haven't heard of BKNAPP, definitely check him out. He just released this, I'm going to brown nose really hard, shill for you. He just released his latest album called Nostalgia Beats Volume 3. Most popular song, from what Spotify tells me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is Game Over. Has over 1 million plays, which is fucking awesome, by the way. That's awesome.
2 million, just,
2 million? What? Holy crap, this is like where I'm Vegeta and I crushed my scouter. What? And I this is the first time I had this structured on a Word document. Niko's favorite album, okay, you ready for this, is Twilight. That's my favorite album because I love Twilight Princess. I thought that was...
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I put my favorite song from that album, and it's just one of my favorite songs that you made, is Orden Village. Love the way that song starts and just all the way through. It's just a good time. And then this other song, which I thought was, to me, straight out of left field from you, but The Struggler. And I'm like, okay, BKNAPP's a Berserk fan, so I like this guy already.
Yeah, that's like my favorite piece of like fiction ever.
Yeah, that's... so, yeah, great remix, too. I think he did a really swell job. All right.
Yeah, I like that one.
So that's it for the brown nosing and the shilling. But yeah, I recommend checking out all this music, of course. Now, BKNAPP, this is the interesting part to me because I get to learn all about you in terms of your music. We'll just call it career, just to label it something.
Yeah, right.
So, with the stuff on Spotify. I see we go as far back as what 2020 when you released your like Ocarina of Time remix album. Was that the earliest stuff on Spotify?
On Spotify, I actually back in the day used to have like all my old beat tapes. The first beat tape I ever released was I think 2015, I want to say, maybe 14.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, those are all in my Bandcamp. They're all still there in my Bandcamp, but I had some sampling issues kind of going on, so I had to take a lot of the older stuff down. Because back in the day, before I really knew what I was doing, I would just like loop something and I would just like throw some drums on it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a musician.
Were you using Fruit Loops?
Um, no, I've always been using Logic Pro.
Okay, Logic Pro. Okay, awesome. Is you still use it today?
Yeah, I fucking love Logic, man.
Yeah, I think yeah. I say Fruit Loops because that's like the oh god.
Yeah, Fruity Loops.
Yeah, it
I've
goes.
used Fruity Loops before. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it goes back a long way. It's been there for a while. Does it just come standard on a computer, or you have to download it? I can't remember.
No, I
Fruit
don't.
Loops.
I don't think it's standard or anything. I think now. I mean, when I used it, I remember that was, geez, probably the first DAW I actually used, and it was actually called Fruity Loops back then because now it's just like FL Studio. But yeah, I don't know. When I was a kid, when I first got it, I'm sure I just had some terrible torrent that just like tore my computer up.
Yeah. That was
But
the yeah, that was the thing to do, dude. Is just torrent the shit out of everything and use like if you were gonna burn or not, well yeah, burn music onto a disc, you just use LimeWire or Kazaa. Do you remember Kazaa?
no, but I use LimeWire a lot. I don't remember Kazoo though.
That was pre LimeWire. Oh my god, that was like early 2000s. Ugh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm 33 years old, so jeez. So okay, cool. Bandcamp. I like using Bandcamp. I've bought albums off of there before from other artists who've done like orchestras of my favorite games or just whatever lo-fi albums and stuff. Um, and yeah, great program. Are you by any chance besides Bandcamp are you published with like Materia Collective or Game Chops? Any of those people?
Yeah, so I did an album for Game Chops that just came out September 2022. And I've been talking to DJ Cutman for a long time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he's been a good kind of just like guy I've run things by. Like I've been talking to him since 2015, 16, kind of on and off. Just, I would just ask him for advice and stuff. And then eventually finally I got to do an album for him, which was really cool.
Whoa, wait, is this album on your Spotify or is this on his stuff?
Yeah, it's on my Spotify, and it'll be linked with Game Chops too. So like, it'll say the artist is BKNAPP and Game Chops.
Oh my gosh.
It's called Poker Tape.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes. Wait, let me check. Let me check real quick. Well, we're doing this in real time, folks. Well, this is pre-recorded, but whatever. Let me see here. Does it? Okay. Oh, it does say DJ Cutman, Sea of Time. Oh my god.
Yeah, so the original version of that was I'm trying to remember if it was either a quicker tempo or a slower tempo. He did a couple things to it to where I told him I was like, dude, just say you're a featured artist on this one. Like you made the track so much better.
Now did you guys work on all 7 tracks on that album or just that one?
Just that one, but he did do the mastering for all of them. So a
Oh
lot of little
man.
notes. So like that album, it kind of sounds just from like an audio perspective a little bit better than all my other stuff.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Did you have?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. So you guys, wow, that's awesome. I mean, I wish I could also interview him as well, but I think he has it to where you can't message him on Twitter, so it's just like, oh well. But I do like DJ Cutman's stuff quite a bit. He's really good.
Yeah, he's a good dude too, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like his avatar too. Whenever he's doing live shows or something, he's wearing his Cutman hat, helmet.
Oh yeah, it's perfect for him.
Okay, that's great. Let me just ask you a couple questions to see if you know any of these artists. Do you know the lo-fi artist? And he's like one of my favorite gaming lo-fi artists. Michael, Mikel.
Yeah, yeah, he's really solid.
I've not, I'm not bragging or anything, but I've had him on the show before, and I'm getting to interview him again tomorrow morning, which is going to be awesome.
Oh, that's sick.
Okay, so this is great. We're all just under one roof here. Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, he's really. I don't know if you ever talked to him like personally or DM, but he's a really nice guy.
Oh, that's cool. No, I never have.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I do these interviews, it's a little nerve wracking because it's like, oh man, I don't know how this guy's gonna be. Maybe this, like, not to assume everybody's gonna be an asshole, but there's always like that slight hesitation or anticipation. I'm like, okay, all right, let's see how this goes. Let's see, uh, like this could go completely awry and then everything falls apart. But everybody I've had on before, in the past has been great. It's what's funny. I've had just mainly musicians, and then one costume designer who does cosplay and stuff. She was awesome. Her name's Victoria Hofferson, but I don't know if you know who that is. But anyway, uh, yeah. So it's just a lot of fun doing this stuff with you guys. Okay. Let's talk about the latest album is Nostalgia Beats, Volume 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, oh, see, this is the fun part. I get the whatever comes to mind. All right. Now, with this album, what was the inspiration behind it? Besides, maybe the name kind of gives it away because it's like nostalgic songs that you may have heard of, and then adding your own spin to it. But what was your inspiration behind it?
So I did the first volume of this and the second volume, and it was originally called Nostalgia Beats. No, no, no. It was called Nostalgic Nintendo Beats originally, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just kind of took away the Nintendo part so I could sample more things.
Yeah.
But I've never really had the intention of making another one because the second one came out. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Maybe 2019, 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
But I was in a really big slump when it came to just creativity and just like making music.
Yeah.
Uh, I was kind of at a point where I was like, dude, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, why am I even making these beats? But
Happens every time.
yeah, it happens a lot, man.
Yep.
And then I finally got a couple. I just made a couple random beats here and there. Because my output normally I'm able to put out just a ton of beats just like throughout the years. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember, like on Bandcamp, especially back in the day, I used to put out 3 or 4 beat tapes, albums, whatever you want to call them, out a year. But this
Oh,
past
sick.
year, it was just like after the Poker tape kind of came out, it's just I really slowed down. I got really busy with my job,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of just thinking like maybe I don't want to do this anymore. So I kind of just started. I was kind of forced myself like, all right, just make like a beat or two, like a month, just like keep it really chill for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still struggling for a few months, just no creativity at all, which is kind of weird for me. Normally, I can just come up with random shit like on the fly. But finally, once I started getting like, I had 6, 7 tracks done, I was like, oh, wait, these are just kind of random beats I made, but they'll fit in like a nostalgic beats kind of volume
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
deal, I guess. So this tape was kind of important for me just because like, all right, this is gonna get me back on track. And so far, yeah, I've been great because I've been making new stuff now too, and I'm actually feeling good about it again.
Yeah. And it happens a lot because priorities. I mean, honestly, it's just like the human condition with priorities shifting left and right. Um, Especially, yeah, like when you said with your job and stuff. I mean, you got to pay the bills somehow, and you got to. Sometimes you got to put your great passion aside for the time being and focus on something else just to keep a living. And you may or may not lose that creative drive, and that's perfectly normal. It sucks because you're like, man, I really love doing this, because this is it's music, right? Making music is always fun, at least to me.
No,
um,
for sure.
so, I mean, it's crazy because I like to write stories and stuff myself, and there was a time where you get writer's block, or I would get writer's block, and I would just it just happens. It just randomly happens. Maybe I thought too hard on the situation. Nothing was coming to me at the time. And then you step away, and then like a week later, after not messing with it, then all of a sudden this like idea just like hits you like a lightning strike, and then you're
Right,
like, oh
right.
shit, that drives back. I got it. And then you just boom, you just create like a whole chapter or two. And I feel like it's kind of like that with anything in the creative endeavor, like music. Um, Sometimes like you gotta step away, give it some room to breathe, not try. And you can't be a try hard or think too hard on it. It's just nothing happens naturally. Sometimes it just takes a simple like you were saying. You're like, I just made a song, and then all of a sudden I had a whole album out of nowhere. It's like what the fuck.
Yeah, basically, that's what it was. And you're right about that. Sometimes taking like a just a step back and just like take a day off or something,
Hmm.
it really does help. Because then all of a sudden you come back to it almost like for music, anyways. You come back to it like with a fresh ear. It's like if I had been working on, let's say, like a mix or a beat or whatever for like a week straight,
Hmm.
I'd take a little bit off and then come back to it. I have a completely different perspective on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot can happen in between, right then and there, and everything. Uh, and that's just how life is. Like you can learn a brand new something experience like the next 5 seconds, the next hour, the next day or two, and then you come back and you're like, okay, I have this new knowledge. Let me apply it to this. Um, Now with this album, I'm trying to think of a right way to word this. Okay, with this album, I understand like there's a certain group of songs in this album, and they're all you would think they'd be all connected, right? They're all trying to I don't know send some kind of message and stuff. Or maybe you made each song like their own separate entity, but you still put it under the same roof. Um, do you know which route you went? Are all the songs connected in some way, like almost like a collage or a mural of some kind, or are they all separate?
No, that's a good question, man.
I try to word it as best I could. I'm bad at this.
No, I I totally know what you mean. Yeah, again, like in the process, it was just kind of me making just random beats here and there.
Hmm.
But I tried to get every track to have a similar feel. Once I got like 7 tracks or so done, I was like, okay, for the remaining ones, like I want them to kind of feel like the ones I've already made. So like
Hmm.
I kind of melancholy, I guess, is probably what I'm kind of going for, kind of like a happy-ish, sad-ish type feel.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if somehow that's possible in one track to be both happy and sad.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because all these like everything I sample when it comes to these, like truly, it's something that like I used to listen to or like reference all the time when I was like way younger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially a lot of like the Nintendo tracks. It's like, oh yeah, like that's the first music I listened to when I was like a kid.
Oh, dude, like the fact that you made some Zelda, Donkey Kong, Chrono Trigger, and all that, all the big ones and stuff, Pokemon. I mean that stuff just never leaves your brain, like your mind ever. Those songs always just are on repeat in my head, and it's like whenever I just think of them, I'm like, I know the song from start to finish. It's great. Um,
Y- Yeah, for sure. And that's why I like sampling them because it's like, okay, I know the feel of that original song. It's like, how do I kind of add my own kind of spin on it? How do I make it almost have like a saddish type feel?
oh yeah, and like I think which album was it? I think I found you through it might have been Twitter or I might have found you on Spotify. They're like, "Hey, music that you might like since you listen to this guy or something, right?" Like a recommendation, which is a pretty prestigious thing to get recommended from on Spotify.
It's sick.
um, and I think the first thing was on there was Twilight, and that's why I say it was my favorite album.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool. You like that one.
yeah, but like, dude, Twilight Princess, my favorite Zelda game, besides Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time. That's like its own separate conversation. And I love the Majora's Mask one you have, like no doubt. I love the soundtrack to pretty much all the Zelda games. Um, I just when I'm listening to let's just say both Zelda albums, I just love how each song there's cool like on beat things that you did and off beat things, and they just fucking flow well together. And me playing music almost my entire life, and writing and all this, like I know when I could pick up when like, okay, I think he was trying this new sound out because it's not on this song, and it just, I don't know, it like changes the whole formula, and it sounds awesome. And that's why those songs are so easy to remember, because there's always like one, you in particular always have that one really catchy beat to it, or a little sound effect that you use, and you're kind of playing around with it in the music, which is great. That's why I like Ordon Village so much, because that song is completely different to me to all the other songs off Twilight, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool you picked up on that, because that was the first album, because I originally did that one for a vinyl release. There was a little record label.
Oh shit, I missed out.
Yeah, yeah. They asked me to press it or make it whatever. So I couldn't use samples on that one. So that one's everything. It's just like I had to kind of recreate.
Mm-hmm.
So that album literally is kind of how you just explained it. I was basically just trying to figure things out as I was going.
Yeah, and that's the best part. I mean, when I edit videos and stuff, I mean, that's if I know I'm gonna like some videos, I'm pretty laid back and I don't need to have much editing or add this special effect or whatever. But it's usually like you said, I'm just making the video or editing it, mixing it, and then whatever comes to mind, I'm like, hey, this would actually be perfect. I don't ever like pre-plan it so hard to where like, okay, I'm gonna use this visual or this visual. I may do it a little bit, but it's really when it comes down to it, when I'm legit making or editing something, is when those special sounds come to mind, or those special visuals that I do. And I can assume that's how it was for you. Like the shit just pops in your head. I'm like, hey, let's throw that in, and you just cook up something great.
Yeah, like my whole production style is like I was never classically trained in music, so I just kind of throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. So it's like if people would hear some of like the demos or just like
Yeah.
early versions of tracks, they'd be like, "Oh my god, like this guy's terrible."
But that's how it is. It's like when you're just brainstorming and just spitballing. I mean, shit, that's the whole point. What sticks on the wall, and and then you get rid of everything else, and whatever you have left, I'm like, okay, this is the one. But or you just throw them all together somehow.
Yeah, right.
I mean, shit, that's just be creating like any type of art piece and stuff. You just can't think about it too much, and you just go with the flow. I always love it when you're not even in control of your own music anymore. It's like the music is controlling you, which I love the most. Like when when I'm writing something or making a video or playing drums or something, like that's exactly it.
Right.
Is
No,
it like
I get
that
the
for
similar
you?
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of times, when you kind of get into that like flow state, whenever,
Oh my
whether it's
god,
I'm
it's the best.
producing or if I'm just like playing bass, whatever it is,
Yeah.
when you're not even thinking about it, you're just kind of doing. And then like a couple hours later, you just re listen. You're like, how do I make that?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you said. You're like, with your Nostalgia Beats Volume 3, it's like I just had one song and all of a sudden there's fucking like 7 or 8 or whatever. Like, how'd I get here? What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to stop either. You just want to keep going. It's a very surreal feeling that it's very hard to describe. It's like a weird high, but a cool high. And the only way
No,
to describe it is like you got to try it and see if you get that high.
right. No, like a weird high is a good way to describe it. Cause like once I get, so like whenever I'm producing music, I just kind of work at just a straight loop.
Yeah.
If I can get a straight loop, like, man, this sounds good, then it's like, okay, now I can work on the actual song. But if I
Yeah,
can get
yeah.
if I can get just a good loop going, sometimes I'll just like listen to that straight loop just for like 10 minutes straight. Like, oh shit, I made this. Like, oh, this is actually going to be something now.
Yeah. Oh man. And it stays with you until you actually put it into some kind of shape or form, and it's great. Uh, like I'll bring in my book again, and this is gonna sound funny and a little personal, but like okay, for the ending of my book, uh, Like no joke. This happened during 2020 during COVID and the lockdowns and stuff. And I was nearing the end of my book, and I didn't know how I was gonna end it because I was trying to do like a trilogy. I was like, I know how the whole trilogy ends, but I don't know how book one ends. I just remember just going number one in the bathroom. Not to get too gross here. And I'm just relieving stress, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, I know how they end the book, you don't even think about it, and it just hits you like a
Yeah.
freight train. That was my gross example, and then I'll be like doing chores and stuff or cleaning dishes, and which I hate doing, but you got to do it anyway. But there's some kind of therapeutic feeling you get, and it kind of releases some tension because you're releasing frustration or energy into something anyway. But then all of a sudden your mind is clear, and all of a sudden these great ideas just flow in, and I can't remember what it was, but I think it was something else from my book that flowed into me just from fucking washing dishes and stuff.
Right.
Do you have
It's
any
weird.
peculiar moments like that where like, holy shit, I got it, I got the final song for my album?
Yeah, that's a great question because that happens to me a lot. I run a lot, so like most mornings I'll go on for like a big run. Most of my ideas, especially when it comes to mixing and like my drums, come from when I'm running. I'm like, oh, that's why that wasn't working. Or what if I went with this sound? Like, and I never go on a run with the intention of like I'm gonna figure out my song. Like,
Nope.
I just go,
Yep.
I just go on the run, and then it just kind of naturally pops up. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like you were just saying, man.
Yeah, and it happens when you least expect it too, and that's just the best part. It always happens when you're not trying to force it, right? When it just naturally comes to you.
Right. Right.
That's how interesting the human mind works, and I think most of it is just when you're able to just think, and your mind wanders and stuff, and it goes into the cloud of imagination, we'll call it. Even just like a simple walk, you're just pondering and just alone in your thoughts and stuff, and you're just like, hey, wow, that just happened, and now I got a great invention to do or thing to add to
Right.
my song or something. Anyway,
Right.
so yeah, exercise will do it for sure. I mean, that's a good way to relieve a lot of stress and all that. And you run your mile and a half, 2 miles, or whatever you run, and they're like, okay, I guess the run's done. That was fast. They're like, okay, and because you've just been thinking about the music the whole time.
Yeah. No, that truly happens a lot, man. And it's like it's not just music too. I just like running or just any type of workout for me. It's just like maybe I have some issue at my job or like something like I'm a teacher, so like maybe it's like a certain lesson plan or something I come up with too. But like most of my ideas I feel like I come up with when I'm running. It's fucking weird.
Well, we're all engines, we're all factories, and once you get the engines primed, it's like, okay, what's gonna come to mind today?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just your way of meditation, even if you're
Yeah.
sweating your ass
Yeah,
off.
for sure.
Yeah, that's the best part. Uh, I had a nickname for you if I call you like instead of BKNAPP, it'd be B Teach, because you're a teacher. And, I don't know. That's all I
I
got.
like it. I like it.
I told you these were to be terrible.
No, I like it, man. That's my new name.
B Teach. Now the kids will really like it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, cool, man. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're like a DJ superhero. You're like the Clark Kent. You put the glasses on. I'm the Clark Kent. Take the glasses off. I'm DJ.
Right. Yeah. No, no, no. It would be a nightmare if I ever had a student figure out I made beats.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. The internet could be a scary place like that.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny because I don't put myself out there too much as far as like personal stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
that's a good idea.
my fucking music name is literally my name. It's my initial, so it's like so obvious.
But it's so how do I so simple. It's gonna work. They wouldn't think
Yeah.
that it'd be my name.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
And I
shit.
think that it's all kind of jumbled up together. BKNAPP. It's just kind of weird. So I don't think some people put it together. I don't know. But like all my work emails, it's funny. It's like I'll work in a school district. It'll be like either BKNAPP or like NAPB at whatever district.org.
Little do they know that there's someone turning tables.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. Okay, let me ask you one last question before we wrap up the interview. Reaching on the 30-minute mark, not to rush anything here. Um, all right, so you don't have to tell me this. If you got something cooking, that's fine. If you want to keep it secret, I completely understand. But is there anything cooking? I know you just released Nostalgia Beats Volume 3, so maybe you're doing a break, but is there anything you can give me or anybody listening in?
Yeah, I got some. Yeah, something cool actually. So
I got
I
this
told
motherfucking
you,
shit. Okay, yeah.
I told you I did that album for Game Chops, right?
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
before that album, I was supposed to do one for Game Chops in like 2018, and
Oh
I was
shit.
supposed to, yeah, a long time ago. I was supposed to remix. Um, it's not. I'm trying to. There was someone on his label. I hope I'm not butchering this.
That's
Who
okay.
made a like a Mother or like Earthbound like soundtrack?
Okay,
I think
sick.
for like an upcoming game or something like that.
Hmm.
But whatever. So they had the rights to this actual soundtrack. So he, Cutman wanted me to remix just this actual soundtrack. So
Oh,
I did it. I made that album, but then I was like, I don't like it. Don't release this. And he agreed with me. He was like, yeah, it's not that great. Then I made it again, like in 2021, 2022.
oh man.
Re-listened to it again. Did not like it. Scratched it. Restarted. So now I'm on the third time around, and this I have a good feeling about this one. I've already got a few tracks done. It sounded nice.
Oh man. Third time's the charm, they say. Okay, cool. Is there? All right, let me just milk this as much as I can. Is there any release date, any estimation, or you're just
It'll be a while. Like
whenever it's
I will,
done?
yeah, I'll finish it in the next few months here. But when I go through like a label, especially one that's like I consider Game Chops like a real record label, you know? It's not
Oh,
just like
for sure.
me. It's not just like me uploading stuff on DistroKid like 3 days before.
Nope.
So it's like when I go through a real label, it's like, okay, it's got to go into their schedules because oh my God, he has so many different albums come out. Like Game Chops has like a new thing every week. So it's like, all
It's
right,
crazy.
the, one, I got to get it actually like mastered the correct way, not just me just slapping whatever like limiter on it.
Yeah.
Two, it's like, um, it's got to be within their schedules for it to make sense. So it's like if they already have an album coming out at a certain time, they can't just like overload like the listener.
Oh yeah, that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
if I were to guess, maybe in a year,
All
I don't
right.
know, maybe
Sweet. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I completely understand. You're pretty much on the list, and you're like, all right, BNAP, it's your turn.
it
You,
kind of is like that, man.
yeah. But hey, a year that gives you plenty of time and everything, so that's cool.
Yeah, the thing about working with game shops that's cool is like if I just self-release something, there's no other ears listening to it before I put it out. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So there's no one like, hey, that you could switch this and that would make it way better. So like Cutman, you know, a lot of his stuff that just has to deal with mixing and mastering.
Mm.
He's always giving me notes, just like, hey man, that snare is way too loud. Hey man, turn down that snare. But like that's really helpful to have because
Yeah.
you know you want the best product possible. It's not always easy to be like, oh man, I thought my track was perfect, but like
Mhm.
if you can have thick enough skin and just like realize they're coming from a good place and they want the best track
Oh
possible.
yeah, yeah. I think it's constructive criticism. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, that's super important. And younger me, like 5 years ago, could not handle it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's that whole getting rejected. Right? Nobody likes getting rejected, but it's necessary for growth. It's the humility and embarrassment, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, absolutely.
it's like you don't want to waste somebody's time with, let's just say in general, with something that's mediocre, or that's
Yeah,
just how it
right.
goes. I mean, hey, the fact that you have, let's just, a guy like DJ Cutman helping you out and stuff, like that's an honor. Like that's something you gotta like, you know, just take advantage of whenever you can.
Right, right. Yeah, I already said he's a nice dude too, man. Because like, I first heard of him. I used to be a fry cook when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
And my buddy, who was also Friday because we worked at the same place, he like put me on. He was like, "Hey, Brady, you like this video game music? Check out this guy." And I thought he was sick. I thought he was like famous or some shit. Then like a few years later, he like emailed me. I was like, "Oh my god."
Holy shit, it's him.
Yeah, right. And then you realize like, oh, he's just a guy too. It's like there's no reason to be freaked out when you're talking to him or anything. He's just a normal dude too.
You know, everybody likes. We always fangirls sometimes. It's normal. But,
Yeah, right, for sure.
you talk it. I mean, you get help from a master like that, or you know, some like a teacher, which is great. Um, and yeah, like the great thing is, it's like yeah, the shitty thing is, it's like yeah, rejection. You got to do it again and again. But the awesome thing is like your music's gonna sound amazing by the end of it, and the fact that you have this awesome master teacher helping you out. You know that like that's a blessing in disguise there.
Yeah, for sure. 100% agree, man.
So awesome. I'm excited to hear anything that comes out from you, BNAPP, B-Teach. That's awesome. Um, yeah, I legit think I started listening to you last or early last year. So yeah, I'm gonna be listening to you till the end of time.
That's sick, man. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, and you know, real quick, this all this. Well, do you consider like the gaming lo-fi and your music and even Cutman's like underground music, or is or mainstream? Like what would? Try to think.
I would say underground, especially my stuff. My stuff is absolutely not mainstream.
Good.
I
Mainstream's
and
usually ugh.
yeah, I'm not someone that would like put down that either. If someone was like, "Hey, do you want to be on the radio?" I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely. Why would I not?" You
Oh
know,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
but just the sound that I go for, I also just have the understanding like, "Oh, this isn't a mainstream sound." You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's not a lot of clubs playing like video game lo-fi, but why? But like, why would they? You know what I mean? That wouldn't
yeah,
make any sense.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I bring that up on because I started. My friend showed me lo-fi for the first time. Oh man, back in 2018, 2019. It was.
Dude,
It was.
you
With,
wanna hear something funny?
yeah, yeah.
All right, so when I first started making beats, I put out a beat tape. I think I said it earlier, like 2014, 15, something like that, and it was just called Super Nintendo Beats.
Yeah.
And it got. I randomly because I used to just like put out beats online. They'll get like 3 plays on like my SoundCloud,
Hmm.
but it randomly like kind of blew up on Reddit one day. It was awesome, but that's the first time I ever heard about lo-fi because everyone's like, "Man, this guy makes great lo-fi music." I had no idea what lo-fi even was.
Low what?
No, I had no clue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just thought I was making beats. I don't know.
I mean,
I
you're not even asking to get labeled or categorized or anything. You're like, oh, okay, I guess it's lo-fi.
I was actually kind of mad. I was like, man, this is low fidelity. This sucks.
And then like a few years later, like, holy shit, everybody's fucking listening to this.
Yeah. It was weird, man.
Yeah, and my friend introduced me to Chilled Cow, which is just always playing on YouTube, just 24/7.
Yeah, right.
And it was just, it's not like video game lo-fi, right? It's just legit artists making lo-fi music. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, what sound is this? This is super cool. And then all of a sudden, it just turned into digging a little deeper, and then I realized I'm like, what? There's a video game lo-fi? Okay, and that's all I would listen to is that instead of regular lo-fi. And then I get to you, and I'm like, oh, the list goes on.
Yeah, because like a lot of people, I've gotten like emails before, especially people that have bought some of those vinyl records I was talking about that were through that record label.
Ooh,
Because the
yeah.
record label will really push it like, and this is lo-fi music. But again, I never really was like, hey, I'm a lo-fi guy. I just kind of make beats and throw them out on the internet.
I I would honestly, just me. I think your beats, me personally, I think they go harder than lo-fi at a lot of the times, because lo-fi is. I would say lo-fi is pretty gentle to the touch.
Yeah, right. Like you're supposed to like put it on and like study to it. I feel like my beats a lot of time. If you put it on to like study, there's like too much change happening.
Yeah, and also when DJ Cutman tells you to turn down the snare drum, I mean, come on.
Yeah, right, right.
I know you're making hard music like that, and yeah, that like the beats you can really feel the bass on them pretty well. But anyway, that's just how I see it. But yeah, and it's small. I guess we'll call it small music world. I guess everything's tied together, especially like Game Shop label and Spotify recommending all these different artists.
Yeah, right, right.
But yeah, uh, I just had this giant ass lo-fi playlist of all these video game artists, like Michael and oh god, I'm trying to think. Oh man, now I can't even think of it. Well, anyway, there's this bunch of artists that just Halen. I don't know if you ever heard of his music.
Yeah, what's funny? He just had one come out today that's called the Poker Tape 3.
Yeah,
So I made the original one. No big deal.
yeah. Wait, is that just a coincidence, or was this
No,
like planned?
they made it a series. So
What?
I originally when I was sending Cutman demos,
Yeah.
I just called it Poker Tape just because I was like, here's some, I don't know. That's just what I called it. And then he hit me back like, hey, is it okay if I make this like a series? And then if you look at all the album covers for the Poker Tapes, they all have the same cassette on them. So they're all kind of like, I don't know if intertwine's the right word, but
Oh
it's cool, man.
They're all interconnected somehow. Okay, I gotta make a playlist of all the Pokey Tapes because that's pretty badass. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's sick, man.
All right, well,
Like the guys that have done it too. It's like, oh shit, I'm on like that level. Like that's cool.
Yeah. You're doing it, man. You're doing it, B-Teach. You got this, man.
That's right. That's right.
You're fighting the good fight, dude. All right, awesome. All right, anyway, folks, we're going to be closing out here with the interview with the great B-Teach or BKNAPP. BKNAPP, awesome to have you on the show. Appreciate you letting us get a sneak peek on what's to come out in the future. Thanks for letting everybody know, inspiration, creation, the passion, the 101 about you.
No, dude, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, awesome. And so, folks, if you want to see more of BKNAPP, I recommend checking out Spotify, his LinkedIn. All those links will be down in the description below on YouTube. And then if you want to hear Niko's annoying voice and the interview, of course, it will be on Spotify audio, and then it'll be on YouTube and posted wherever it can't get away from me. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for being here. And BKNAPP, awesome. Thanks again, dude.
Absolutely.
All right. See ya.